Andy, we're here in Haiti, and I'm so grateful you're here as a friend. And then also, for people who don't know Andy's the editor of Christianity Today, executive editor, author of two great books, Playing God and Culture Making. And I'm grateful that you're here, and why don't you tell people what you've been doing here for the last few days?
Well, the main thing that I got to do was be with the Micah Scholars and on a 3-day retreat with them. I was here with Brenda Salter McNeil speaking on topics of power. Power in our countries, power in the church, power in communities, and trying to give a biblical framework for thinking about power. Especially actually a positive framework, because I think people have seen how power is abused. But these Micah Scholars are going to have, at least within their churches and maybe broader Haitian society, significant power. And if your only model for power is how it's abused, then you're not likely to end up using it well. So we tried to give them a positive vision for power, and then also a framework for understanding why power is abused, how it's abused, and how the church can be part of restoring a different vision of power to communities.
Yeah. So, and I got to see for 3 days how much they were learning, and by the end they were ready to start co-teaching with you. Like, they were
awesome.
So absorbing it, and so they learned a ton, and they're ready to go. And they were saying they're ready to start preaching on what they just learned.
Yes.
They're ready to start applying it. What did you learn? Is there anything that you learned being with them?
I expected these to be really high quality leaders, engaged, smart, prepared. I was really not expecting how much sense of solidarity there is among them. It's interesting to come from the U.S. that is an individualistic culture, and we all kind of know that, but you don't see that until you step out of it into another culture where these are well-prepared individuals, but they have a sense of connection to each other and to their communities that is incredibly strong. And I don't just mean that in the sense of strong bonds, but creates strength and creates capacity. And I was really blown away by the potential for the strength of these bonds to translate into a lifetime of really effective leadership on the part of these scholars.
Yeah, thanks. It was so great to see you guys coming together and learning together. You teaching, but then learning together. And then you got to do something different that you haven't done before, and you spoke. You're the preacher, so I think they wanted to be a preacher, not a speaker, at a graduation for our first class of Micah Scholars, painting this scene. There, I don't even know, 600-700 people there, and two balconies and standing room only on the outside. And as our Micah Scholars, but then with their colleagues, are graduating. What was your experience of sharing and being part of that?
First of all, a sense of great hope. Just the potential in the room is tangible. And then I think a sense of great, what would the word be? I spoke out of Revelation about the graduation ceremony in Revelation, you might say, where everyone's gathered around the throne, and the angel says to John, these are the ones who have come through the great ordeal. And that had its own meaning in John's time, probably. But as I spoke on that, the way it resonated with this group, they all lived through the earthquake. They all lived through the everyday challenges, violence, even political violence, the very day of the graduation. They all can anticipate great ordeals in their lives. And I've spoken at a couple of graduations in the U.S., and I always am struck by these bright young graduates who are heading for a future of difficulty and suffering, because that's human life. But I felt it very keenly with this group, and yet the hope in the room that Christ gives us the ability to come through the great ordeal. It just felt like, by God's grace, a word for Haiti, but really for all of us, because that's all of our story.
It is, yeah. And that's the amazing part about being grateful that you're here, and I got to be in the room, and we have all these differences between us, but then there's this amazing hope in Christ that isn't a facile hope that means there's no more suffering, but it's a hope where if we get together, like you were saying earlier too, and the strength of Micah Scholars, the strength of North American Christians, Haitian Christians coming together, then we can really live into that hope of God's kingdom. So thanks for being here.
It's been such a gift.
Thanks, Andy.